Εξομολογήστε το Κύριο διαγραφός, αλληλούια, ότι στον αιώνα το έλεος αυτού, αλληλούια.
Listen, you don't let people speak. So your point was that I shouldn't blaspheme Allah because we share the same God, even though I'm not a Catholic. I'm just gonna read your statements because you're not letting me speak. So
Then we'll talk about Tawheed, correct?
Okay. No, I told you that I have very limited time and I need to go. You came.
Oh, right. So
Okay,
we
hang
can
on,
talk.
hang on.
Hold on. So we
Let
can
me
talk
talk.
about that. We can talk about a Catholic position that I don't hold to.
No, because
or we can
you're
talk about
coming,
Islam.
you're
Hold on.
coming
Hold
to
on.
attack Muslims.
No. Yes.
You're coming to attack Muslims,
Yes.
uniting with Catholics. So if you're coming with Catholics, then that means you are professing. You're basically saying that we
No.
are all on the same team.
No.
We're professing the same
Hold
God,
on.
are you
Let
not?
me respond.
Sure.
So let's just say a Catholic, a Protestant, and Eastern Orthodox share the same. Hello, David. They share the same proposition that Jesus is God. If, for example, a Muslim denies that notion, us three can agree to debate that Muslim on that proposition, on that premise that Jesus is in fact God. Now, in terms of our Christological view, in terms of how we understand God interacts with creation, do you know what I do? My Catholic brothers, my Protestant brothers, I'll go to a cafe with them and say, this is the reason why Eastern Orthodoxy is true. I believe the fullness of the faith is in the Eastern Orthodox Church, and I believe the statements by the Pope are in error, and this is why I believe so. Now,
Is the Second Vatican Council not binding on all Catholics?
Yes.
It is binding on all Catholics,
Yes.
right? So when it says in the Second Vatican Council, it says, but the plan of salvation, this is in the Second Vatican Council, Lumen Gentium, but the plan of salvation also includes those who acknowledge the Creator, in first place among whom are the Muslims, who profess to hold the religion of Abraham, and together with us they adore the one merciful God, mankind's judge on the last day.
Beautiful.
So it's saying, your discussion with me when we had this last week was that this is natural theology. The reason this is not natural theology is because it's saying these profess to hold the faith of Abraham. So was the faith of Abraham, was that naturally deducted, or was that divine revelation?
Yeah, so the reason...
It was divine revelation.
Hold on.
So that's why it's not natural theology.
Let me respond.
It's revealed theology.
Yeah. So, there's So, they're saying that there is a reducer predicates to what a classical theistic God is, which entails being the God of Abraham, because even a Hindu would admit that they are the God of Abraham, because their God is in hold on. If their God is in reality, and if their God is eternal, and if their God is one, that means by necessity they are the God of Abraham, because the God in reality with Abraham would be that respected God. Now, that is what natural theology teaches, that there is a classical theistic God which can be deducted through nature alone, to which that is why they share the same God.
You and I both know that Hindus do not claim to profess the faith of Abraham, right? So why are you making that argument?
Well, no, okay, so is their God eternal?
Yeah, according to them it's Brahma.
Okay, beautiful. And Abraham lived in reality, correct?
Yes.
So by necessity, the God in reality is Brahma, for example.
Do they
Hold
profess
on.
one merciful God?
Yes, certain sects of Hinduism do.
So you can't say
Yeah,
all of them do.
modalism. They affirm modalism, the idea that there is one energy of God and different expressions of God. Not really. Now, back to your point.
Okay. Yeah, so
Again, so we've went to the fact that I am not a Catholic, that I believe that... Hold on. Listen. Did I not say to you that I align in the proposition that Christ is God? Therefore, if there is a Muslim that denies that notion, I join with them in that debate, but after the fact, I do my duty as a person that believes the fullness of the faith is in Eastern Orthodoxy, to have a cordial discussion with this individual to demonstrate that their denomination is in error. I do not reject the notion that Catholics are in error, that Protestants are in error, but rather we share the same views in terms of Christ being God and in terms of the Trinity, not in terms of Christological accounts on how Christ is God, rather that Christ is God, therefore we share in the same proposition, therefore we can defend that proposition, us three united against the Muslims.
So the issue here, can I come in now, right?
Yeah.
The issue here is you're uniting with them, whilst their Pope, you and me agree that to be a Catholic is to follow the Pope.
It'd be a characterization of that, yes.
Okay, yeah. So if their Pope is saying that he worships the same God as the Muslims, right, and you're uniting with them against the Muslims, how does that make sense?
Because they're saying it is a metaphysical conception of that God. That in fact that is still blaspheming because that's insulting God. You initially agreed off camera. Hold on.
Yeah.
You agreed off camera that regardless of the statement that's been by the Pope in ex cathedra, that it is insulting to my God to say he is Allah. Rather, the Pope is simply positing that there is a metaphysical conception which means it is their God. Now,
Okay.
I want to
Is
hold
that-
on. You've discussed about Catholicism, which I don't hold
No,
to.
I wanna
Now, hold on.
finish
Hold
this,
on.
because if you
Point
go
for
to
point, my friend.
Catholic.com,
Point.
There's two sources, so if
Point,
any one
point,
of
my
us-
friend.
Yeah, hang on. Okay, so in Catholic, we're gonna go. Okay, you make your point. Go
Okay,
ahead.
beautiful. So I want to make a point against
And
your
then we
Allah.
go back onto this.
Yeah,
topic,
so
right?
okay, so in the Sunni tradition, they say that Allah's attributes are not him and they're not other than him. That there's a real distinction between Allah and his attributes, correct?
Yeah.
Okay, beautiful.
No. So sorry. So
Allah-
we have to be very careful when we're talking about Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's attributes, because I'm not going to lie on the spot like you do, right? And
Pardon?
go into heresy and all of this. So I'm going to be very careful.
So
about my
you agreed initially that Allah's attributes are not him and not other than him.
That is a logical position to take, that the attributes.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
So in the Sunni tradition, they affirm a real distinction between the attributes of
What do you
Allah
mean? Okay, 'cause
and the
what do
essence
you
of
mean-
Allah.
What do you believe as an Orthodox?
Hold on.
You believe in the
That's a
essence
two-cook
energy,
way.
don't you?
That's a two-cook way.
No,
That's
it's
it.
not.
Look, hold on. You
Go
agreed
ahead.
that we would talk about your Allah
Yeah.
once we talk about Catholicism. So let's talk about Allah. Let's not be scared of Allah. Let's talk. So we say, right, that Allah's attributes are really distinct from his essence, which means that Allah is possessing parts less than the whole itself. That's what we define the part as. And we're not saying that the attribute of being powerful is identical to the whole, rather lesser than the whole, which means Allah possesses parts. Now, if Allah possesses parts, that means that Allah is powerful through the virtue of the part of the attribute of being powerful, which means there is a passive potency in your God, because there's a state of potentiality between attributes and the essence. James, can you be quiet for a minute? Now,
That's rich coming from you.
yes,
How old are you?
16.
All right, let's stay on that. Let's stay on it.
So,
Okay.
there is a passive potency between your Allah, which necessitates imperfection.
Okay, I'm gonna bring in the first argument to prove why you're talking nonsense. Okay.
Okay.
So here, with me.
Yep.
Okay. So you're saying that you can unite on Catholics based on what you said before, right?
Uh-huh.
Yeah. Here it says, this is on Catholic.com. Do Muslims worship the same God as Catholics do? And I'm gonna come back to your point in a minute
Yes.
about. Okay. Here it says, and this is written by, just for anyone that's watching, this is written by Tim Staples, who's a senior Catholic figure, right? What does it say here? Thus, we Catholics have to be okay.
Yeah.
Okay, well,
So,
wait, hang on. I'll read it from here. Some will argue that if someone presents, for example, their God as teaching whatever, that,
You understand
that God
that-
is
yeah.
not the God of us at all, and that I would argue is true. It could be argued that God would suffer. Okay, I'm going to skip to the.
Wait, hold on.
Wait, hang
Read
on,
that
okay.
bit. Read that bit.
Okay.
Because it just said that some would argue,
Yeah.
because this isn't a statement in ex cathedra. This is a statement positing opinions of the Catholic Church. You've just read and you've buried yourself. You've read a part from that article that says some would argue
Okay, you read
that
it.
this is not
You
the
read
same.
it.
Hold
You
on.
read it. You read it.
Read the part that
Okay.
you just read from.
Okay.
Because you just in that article,
I'll
right?
read it.
It just says that some would argue that we do not profess the same God.
Okay, it says, thus we Catholics have to be
No,
careful
read back,
to distinguish
read
between
back.
the fact that Muslims believe in the one true God.
One true
right?
God.
The one
Reason
true
through
God.
natural theology. Because natural theology posits that you can get to know a notion of the one true God deducted by nature, which would posit one God and the God of Abraham. Now, could you mind, instead of going back to your sources, responding to my argument I posed against your Allah?
Okay, so the first thing is that in your explain your essence energy distinction.
Wait, no. You said your response against your Allah. You agreed that after we talked about the Catholic position, we would talk against
We didn't
Allah.
finish on the
I
Catholic
posed an argument against Allah, which means you respond to it or you're scared. Or
I'm
you
not-
or
repeat
you
your
know that
argument.
Allah is false.
Repeat your argument.
You're
Repeat your
scared. Okay. So, we define a part
Yeah.
as less than the whole. You say Allah's attributes are not him and not other than him. there is a real distinction between Allah's attributes and His essence, which means
there's some attributes that are associated with this essence, right? So then there's
Yeah,
the
but,
concept
is
of
this-
God and sifat.
okay. So are the attributes associated with His essence identical to the whole itself?
No, they're talking. Okay, so then there's the essence of Allah Subhanahu wa Taala. Right?
Yeah.
And then He has His attributes.
Yeah.
Right?
And are these attributes identical to the whole itself?
This is nonsensical.
It's not.
Nonsensical.
This
because
is
in
the
your
distinction
essence- in
between
your-
DS
hang on.
and divine complexity.
Hang on. This is like saying the essence energy situation.
Are
believe
you-
in
are
God's
you- are you
transcendence.
actually going back
You
to your
believe
point?
your God's transcendence, right? You believe God's transcendent.
Yeah.
And then you. Okay. Let me.
Wait, hold on. Are you actually going to respond to my question?
Yes, I'm gonna
Or
respond to
are you a secret Catholic which knows more about Catholicism than Islam? Because whenever I ask a question against Allah, it is EED. Or whenever I blaspheme Allah, it's Catholicism. A position I don't even hold to, sir. So please respond to the point.
Okay, so
the
hang on.
attributes of Allah are not identical to
hang
the
on.
whole itself, which means it's a part of the whole. That means Allah possesses parts,
Okay,
which
the
means
Orthodox, your position.
Oh,
the Orthodox position.
orthodoxy! Astaghfirullah! Respond against Allah, sir.
I'm saying
You're scared.
You're being hypocritical because
Yeah.
the Orthodox position asserts that God's essence is absolutely unknowable, whilst His energies and His actions are operations that manifest in the world. So do
Beautiful.
you make a distinction between His essence and His energy?
Yes, there is a distinction. Hold on.
Yes, right?
But so the energies fully hypostasized make personal the essence. Okay? So we've identified the essence of God. Now the essence of God is DS. The ontology of the essence is simple, which distincts the Sunni Islam position to the Eastern Orthodox position. Now that quote there that you've just quote mined says that we know God through His energies, not through His essence. Because the energies is how we know of God's essence, right? So respond to my point. I have literally answered to a position I don't defend and I don't affirm, and a position I do affirm to. So please do not be a coward. Respond to my point. So, are the attributes of Allah identical to His essence, or the whole of Allah?
You know yourself that we can't. There's a situation that we have to have in Sunni Islam where the attributes they're referring to Allah Subhanahu wa Taala, but we do not make them equivalent to His essence, and we also don't make.
So
them
it's a part. It's a part then. If it's not identical
What
to,
do you
hold
mean
on,
by part? What do you mean by
less than the whole.
Okay, let me give you an explanation. Hopefully that makes sense. Okay?
Hey, man.
Just give me a second.
Wait. If we define part as a less than the whole, is Allah possessing parts?
Sorry.
Yeah. So if we define a part as less than the whole, He's possessing parts, correct?
I'll give you. I have to be very careful with my terminology, and I want to answer you. But just give me a second to be specific, okay?
Okay.
So,
Your Allah is going to be made of parts in a minute. Watch.
just give me a second.
Maybe Allah can give him part of his hair back. We'll see.
You know that time when you're just really tired, you just crack, you just go insane. That's what's happening to me.
Okay. So I'm going to reaffirm the Sunni position
Oh,
that the attributes of God, such as power, will, and knowledge, are not identical to God's essence, nor are they separate, right?
So they're
that's
not identical. Hold on. So they're indivisibly one. Because hold on. Because I've read Ibn Taymiyyah's Oneness of God, and in his proposition 46, I believe, he talks about counting the attributes of Allah by division, right? Inseparability. So that's where the second part comes in. The first part then affirms that your Allah is made out of parts, because if it is not identical to the whole, it means it's less than the whole, because it's in union with the whole itself, which means your Allah possesses parts. Do you agree? Okay, then why is that not the case?
Okay, so look, I'm going to read it, and then you tell me what's wrong with it.
Okay.
Classical position in Sunni scholars is that the attributes of God, such as power, will, and knowledge,
Are not him, not
identical
other
to
than him.
God's essence, nor are they separate from it. That their being non-identical returns to the manner in which each is rationally conceptualized in the mind. The reality of an essence is not the same as the reality of an attribute.
Okay, beautiful. So you've just affirmed what I initially said, which then, in a sound argument, implicates that your Allah is made of the parts. Hold on, because you said, right, that the attributes are not. Hold on. I let you list your
You only
quote.
let me finish
yes,
my point.
yes, you did.
just-
You were quiet.
Hang on,
Okay.
hang on. Okay. So would you say that? Okay, go ahead.
Okay, beautiful.
I don't want to. Go.
Okay, so when I say whole, I say essence. So when the attributes of Allah are not identical to the essence itself, that would then mean that in fact your God possesses things that are less than the whole, which means he possesses parts.
No, we don't make that distinction.
Yes, you do. You say, hold on, that quote is saying that the attributes are distinct from the whole itself, but in a union in the whole as indivisibly one. I agree, you count the attributes by division, but that does not then mean that your Allah does not possess parts.
I'm really
Stop for the one, guys. Listen. Your Allah possesses parts. Admit it.
Okay,
do you know what you're saying?
Okay, at the same time, an attribute is not other than the essence.
Yes, because it's indivisibly
In the
one.
sense of
Because you
not
count the
being separate
attributes
from
by
it, which
division.
refers to an attribute not subsisting on its own. It requires an essence through which it subsists.
I agree. I absolutely agree.
And
That's what an essence
being
is.
innate to its essence.
Yeah,
So
it's
an
innate.
attribute
Hold
is
on.
innate to an essence.
This is such a non sequitur. It's crazy to me. So, it subsists in the essence. I agree. That's a subsistent relation. I then agree that it is indivisibly one because you count the attributes by division. But the attributes, you agreed, are not identical to the whole, which means then parts are subsisting in the
a
essence.
divine simplistic argument. Do you understand that?
No,
That is
no,
a
no.
divinely
This is my
simplistic-
first point. This is my first point. Then it's leading into an argument. So
No. Why is this not a divinely simplistic argument? The Catholics could use the same against the Orthodox. They use the same argument against the
Yeah,
Orthodox.
they affirm ADS. We affirm DS.
You're saying
Wait. Does he also? Wait, hold on. Does the Orthodox position hold to DS? They do. The distinction is ADS and DS. Okay? So I am simply posing that if you're not divinely simple, then your God possesses parts of my faith.
So you are affirming divine simplicity.
Yes. Not absolute divine simplicity. Oh, he's getting the quotes out. Wait, hold on. Can we get back to your Allah?
Affirming, no, now you're running. Why are you
Wait, running! This guy literally has been running from the fact that this guy, his God possesses parts. My friend, every time I say something against his Allah, he runs like a scared little boy because his Allah can't exist. Okay. Then let's respond to Allah then, okay? Because if I'm damned, you're damned as well, right? Because supposedly I don't affirm DS, that's fine, but you don't either, which means we both have the issue. That's a two-court way. Hold on. No, I'm not. What? Because they affirm ADS, I affirm DS.
Tell us the distinction.
Okay, so for example, they would affirm a virtual distinction between the persons and the essence. Oh, would affirm a real distinction between the persons and the essence. But the essence is the thing in question.
you do
Hold
affirm a
on.
real distinction. So could you not say that's
Hold on.
from me going to
Because
definition?
I'm not talking about the relations of the persons to the essence. I'm talking about relations between the attributes and the essence. This is where the Catholic and Eastern Orthodox position is not paramount to what you're saying. Now, can we please hold on. Listen. So we're talking about the relations of the persons to the essence. I'm talking about the relationship between these attributes and essence. I am saying. Hold on. I am saying that in both positions we would hold to the position that the attributes are identical to the whole itself.
Okay.
You notice, guys, that
hang on.
the absolute
The Catholics, as an argument towards the Orthodox, they say there is a lack of clarity in distinguishing God's essence and energies from the philosophical concept of parts, right?
Yeah, that's the distinction between his energies and his essence. Do you notice?
how is that
Hold
not-
on. You notice that is not talking about the attributes and the essence, because that's not a point of contention between the Catholics and Orthodox. Now, can you please accept that you're a Muslim, and I'm an Eastern Orthodox Christian, and there's not a Catholic here debating?
No, the issue is...
Hold on. This is literally... Hold on. This is literally a two-quote way, gentlemen. This is literally... Hold on. This is literally... Hold on. Buddy, this is literally a two-quote way.
It's not a two-quote way.
Yes, it is.
If I'm coming, say my brother.
Ladies and gentlemen,
and I have to, and he's
respond. Look, listen. Respond to my point, or listen. If you don't respond about your Allah, you're scared of your Allah.
No, I am responding.
Okay. So your Allah possesses parts because you've literally identified that Allah's attributes are not identical to the whole itself.
I haven't affirmed that. I haven't affirmed the opposite as well. It's a very clear situation.
It's not.
It's a very clear situation that we don't completely dissociate the parts from the essence, but we don't completely combine the parts from the essence.
You understand, right? I'm not arguing that they're separate. They're just not divinely simple, right? They're not identical. Hold on. I completely disagree with the notion that a God can exist and his attributes be really distinct from his essence, because then that would affirm that your God has passive potency, and that would also go against classical theistic arguments. Hold on. Ladies and gentlemen, every time I speak, he's going to talk about Catholics. Every time you pose a classical theistic argument, such as the contingency argument, I am simply going to pose back that your Allah's parts are not our say, therefore they're contingent.
Are you saying? Is your argument like to its full conclusion?
No,
it's not. To its full conclusion that we worship multiple gods. Is that your argument?
No, that's not my argument.
So what is it?
I'm not arguing that because your Allah's part.
Because there is no church father.
Yeah, listen.
There is no figure in early Christianity history which has said that Muslims are not monotheists.
Yeah. So that's literally not my argument. I'm arguing that your Allah is imperfect.
It's imperfect.
Yes. Because I'm saying. Yeah. I'll go back to that. So hold on. Buddy, you strawmanned my position. Listen. You strawmanned my position or what my argument is.
Tempted by Satan, right? It's perfect. And
yes. Okay, so very simple. I'm going to argue, because if you say that again, you say something inflammatory, I'm going to say something about your prophet.
No.
Hold on. You say something again like that again. You say something. Hold on. Listen, I can tempt Allah. I'll be a Muslim if lightning strikes right now. That's temptation. Right.
Fall into temptation.
They didn't exactly. Temptation right now. Allah, give me $1 million and I'll be a Muslim. That's temptation, ladies and gentlemen. That's what he's saying is a disqualifier. Now, ladies and gentlemen, we said, right?
Okay, I'm saying.
Listen, he said that my argument was that he's not a monotheist. I didn't say that. I was simply establishing that his Allah has passive potency, that his Allah moves to a state, to imperfection, to perfection. Because I need to establish premise 1, that his Allah is composed of parts. That is not the Catholic position, because my God is ontologically simple. Could he say that against Allah and Tawheed? No, he would be a Shia. So if we were to talk about the differences between the Sunni and Shia, a Shia would bring the exact same argument against his Sunni tradition, that his God is not ontologically simple.
Okay,
that's point 1. Point 2, why would I say that his God is composed of parts? To establish that his God moves to a state of imperfection to perfection. What do I mean by this? Your Allah is powerful by the virtue of the part of the attribute of being powerful, which means there is a state of potentiality between his attribute and his essence, which means there's a passive potency. Passive potency directly implies imperfection.
We can talk about the fact that your God is tempted by Satan, and how is that?
Hang on. So notice the straw man. Notice the red herrings, right? He is scared of his Allah. He's a sissy for Allah. I will answer his question. I will answer. You're scared and you're scared. Very simple, ladies and gentlemen. I can tempt Allah right now. Allah, I will be a Muslim if I get a girlfriend and I have $1 million. That's an external temptation, ladies and gentlemen. But that's not a disqualifier for Allah being God. Now, did Christ fall for the temptation? No, he didn't. It's an external temptation. I've just tempted Allah to condemn Allah.
Can I talk now?
Yes.
I dare you talk for God knows how long. Okay, so the fact is, in the Bible, what is temptation? To explain to me what temptation is.
Yeah, proposing.
Temptation is the ability to sin, right?
Yeah.
No,
it's not.
No,
it's not.
Tell me what it is.
Yeah, so temptation would be posing a motive for a desire.
So there can't be temptation without desire, right?
Or
So I
a
can't
motive.
tempt you to do something if you don't have the capacity.
No, I'm
to desire
talking about the
something.
agent committing the temptation.
No,
so
no,
hold
no,
on. Listen.
No, it's fine.
I'm clarifying what I mean. I'm clarifying what I
let's
mean.
let's
So
clarify
I am
what-
saying
let's
when
clarify what
Satan
temptation is.
tempts Jesus, okay? Satan's jealous. He wants to be God.
So you stay
So,
out of it,
of
right?
course, he would tempt God. That's the motivation, and that's the proposition.
They got it going.
That I am the God of humanity. That I am the God of this creation
You're
here.
not understanding what I'm saying. I'm saying not from the
Hold on.
perspective of the tempter,
Yeah.
but of the tempted. To be tempted to do something.
But fall into temptation, you've identified it has to be falling into temptation.
Can I
Yes.
Okay. To be tempted into doing something, you have to have the desire to be able to do the thing you're being tempted to do, right?
No, because
That follows
no,
by
hold on,
definition.
it doesn't.
Because I can't tempt.
It
the
doesn't.
I can't
no, listen,
tempt, I
bro,
can't
bro.
tempt-
You are
Can I
you are
talk?
misunderstanding. No, do you
Isn't
know
that
why
you
I'm
talk,
being rude?
David?
Because you've
Isn't that
straw
you
man.
talk?
You
Okay.
literally moved.
Why you
Tell
introduce
your voice,
timing?
calm down a bit. Yeah,
No,
yeah,
no,
yeah.
listen,
Look,
no,
he's
listen,
scared of
bro,
time.
listen. He's moved the topic 3 times.
I know. Okay,
So
so
we will have a
here's what
time
we'll do.
discussion if
Yep,
it's about your
agreed,
Allah.
agreed.
If it's about your Allah, we'll have a time discussion. Because you're not scared of your Allah. Are you scared? Are you scared of your full?
Okay.
Can I go? Can I
So
go?
no,
Wait a second.
time discussion.
How many minutes are we doing?
So
Huh?
2 minutes about
2
his
minutes?
Allah.
2 minutes?
About his Allah.
Okay.
About his
Starting
Allah.
now.
Because we moved
About
topics.
his Allah. No, you
Start
haven't.
now.
You
Start
moved
now.
topics.
I'm not
You
gonna
moved topics. So David, if he is the
David,
moderator,
start again.
if you are the moderator, you would agree that it should be about Allah.
Pause it and start again. Just have a decent discussion.
About
I'm enjoying
Allah.
the discussion.
About
You're doing a really
Allah.
great job. You're doing a really great job.
About no, hold
everybody
on.
needs
So,
to-
ladies and gentlemen, he has shifted the goalpost 3 times.
How many times?
He talked
I'm
about
happy, I'm
Catholicism. I don't hold to it, but I would argue for the truth. He argued against Allah, to which he ran to, and now he's talking about Christ. Stick to a position, sir. You can't
Yeah, we're
defend your
talking
own
about the
faith.
position. We talked
You
about
can't
the other
defend your faith.
I will talk. Can you
You
shut up?
cannot
I
defend
think,
your
yeah,
faith.
you're doing a great job. You're doing a really great job. But just let him have his. Yeah,
I know
let
you're
him
scared.
have
Okay,
his-
okay.
Let him have his moment. You know?
You're scared of Allah.
Don't fall for straight. Okay, cool. So we're doing 2 minutes each. Right? Now listen. Okay, so here's what we're gonna do. Ultimately, you said 3 topics.
let me wrap
Wait
up
a
this.
second. 3 topics, and he has simply brought up topics against the faith. Now you've asked him about Allah, and he hasn't answered you yet. So carry on hammering away at it for as long as you like. Now 2 minutes. He's gonna go, and you go. Yeah? Yay? Okay. Say when.
Who goes first?
Say what you go first. Say when.
No. Okay, so this last topic, I'm happy to revisit the topics he mentioned, but this last topic he's running away from it, he's shouting. So the point is that temptation, you can't tempt something if they have the incapacity to be doing that thing. If they don't have the desire to do that thing. I can't tempt a tripod to jump because it doesn't have a desire to jump. So by the very nature, in the Bible where it says Jesus was tempted to sin, he must have had a desire to sin. And if he had a desire to sin, he cannot be God, because God cannot have a desire to go against himself, because to sin is to go against God. So if God was tempted to sin, he cannot be God.
Okay.
Wait, you got 2 minutes.
Okay, sure. So let me just emphasize this point again and again, because he's never going to address it. You can't tempt a tripod to jump because the tripod itself does not have a desire to jump. You can only tempt something if they have a desire to do the thing that is being tempted to do. So if in the Bible where it says Jesus was tempted by Satan, it's saying that Jesus was tempted, that means Jesus had a desire, and that desire could have succumbed to sin. So by that definition, God cannot be Jesus because Jesus was tempted to sin.
Okay, beautiful.
Yeah.
So you need to.
Sorry.
Yeah, I'm happy to sacrifice.
Okay, so you have to make a distinction between falling through that temptation and external temptation. External temptation is a stimuli. I could tempt this tripod, sure. Tripod, jump. It's not going to because it doesn't have the mental faculties, or its nature is unable to be tempted. Just like Christ's nature. I could go to Christ and tempt him, but it is not in his nature to be tempted, therefore he did not fall through it. So, my challenge to you is find me in scripture where Jesus falls through a temptation. Second point, I can tempt Allah, and if that's how you define temptation, this is a disqualifier for your Allah. Allah, I want $1 million and I'll become a Muslim. That is a temptation. You know through your Quran, Allah will not follow through. because he has a conceptually perfect nature. Now let's talk about your Allah. You've ran away from the point. You've accused me of running, now you're running. Allah possesses attributes which are not identical to the whole itself, which means Allah possesses parts. If Allah possesses parts, it means, for example, that the attribute of being powerful powers the essence, which means there's a state of potentiality, there's passive potency between the attributes of Allah and the essence. If there is passive potency, that necessitates imperfection, which means your God is imperfection. You cannot have two contradictory notations like your Allah is imperfect and your Allah possesses a conceptually perfect nature.
Done?
Yeah.
All right. Say when.
Okay. Yeah, go ahead. Okay, so you mentioned that our God is imperfect and stuff, brother, because he is composed of parts. I made it very clear to you that there's the essence and then there's attributes associated to that essence. They are not completely part of that essence and then they are not parts away from that essence. There is a relation there between the attributes and the essence, okay? And I've explained that to you multiple times. I'm not going to go over it again. The thing that you mentioned there about the nature, that didn't make any sense. I'm going to repeat the argument, and I don't understand how that disqualifies. Like, okay, so if you're saying that the tripod doesn't have the nature to comprehend,
Fall through.
I'm happy for him to interrupt you.
To fall through.
So it doesn't have that.
So I can say to a tripod,
Yeah, possible.
jump.
Yeah.
It doesn't have the mental faculties, or its nature is unable to follow through for that temptation. So I can pose an external stimuli.
Let's keep it calm.
Temptation.
We don't have to do the timing. Let's
hold
keep
on.
it calm, okay?
So,
No, time is important. Because this is the one
so
last time.
we can pose an external stimuli, being temptation, onto an inanimate object. That object won't respond. So it's not following through that temptation, correct?
So it's.
I'm starting.
Sorry, just restate that point.
So I can speak to an inanimate object.
Yeah.
It won't speak back to me, will it?
Yeah, no.
Beautiful. So if I say a temptation to an inanimate object, I am saying it to that object in question, but it's not going to follow through, correct?
But the issue here is that
So
you're not
it's-
tempting. You're not
yeah.
tempting the object
I'm
because
starting.
you can only tempt something that can comprehend the temptation, right? And can act upon that temptation, whether to reject that temptation or whether to accept the temptation. So when you're saying that you can still tempt the tripod, you can't tempt the tripod.
So I've got a question now. You've had a dichotomy of it following through and it not following through.
Yeah.
So let's just say I pose God a temptation that does not follow through. Is that a disqualifier?
You pose God a temptation,
If I pose a temptation and
Yeah.
God does not follow through, is that a disqualifier for God?
but it says do not tempt God in the Bible.
Yeah, but if I do it because I'm sinful, I go against God all the time.
Sure.
So if I pose God a temptation and it does not follow through, is that a disqualifier?
You pose God a temptation and he can comprehend what you're proposing to him. Right?
But if he doesn't follow
Whereas the
through,
tripod cannot comprehend.
well, hold on. If it doesn't listen, the comprehension is a non sequitur. But if it doesn't follow
you
through,
mentioned-
listen, buddy. If it doesn't follow, you brought up the tripod, by the way, not me.
Yeah.
So, if he does not follow through, is that a disqualifier?
As part. No, that's
Answer
not
my
a
question.
That's not a disqualifier.
Oh, beautiful.
for temptation.
Does Christ follow through that temptation when he was posed against Satan?
Sir?
According to Scripture, does Christ follow through to that temptation?
But you can't. Okay, well,
Bro,
the
you're not
difference here-
literally.
the difference here is that you can't tempt God to sin. So that.
Yes, I can. Allah, commit lust and I'll be a Muslim. Is he going to follow through?
But he's not.
Is he going to follow
he's not
through?
succumbing to the temptation.
Is he going to?
No, no.
Oh, exactly. Does Jesus follow through?
No, but sorry.
Does Jesus follow through?
I accept that I phrased it wrong.
Does Jesus follow through?
Back.
Which means he can still be God. Now, let's go back to your Allah. You stop the timer, not me. So, you are still saying he's indivisibly one. That's not my argument, my friend. I accept the premise that you profess monotheism. I don't care, right? The understanding of monotheism.
Please ask him who's the God of Jesus, the flesh.
Siraj,
And
I
who's
will
your
carry
God?
you away if you
Who's
get
your
out
God?
of here.
Siraj,
I will carry you
Siraj,
away.
stop having
Get out of here.
Siraj, you're an historian, mate. Jesus in the flesh.
Who's the God of Jesus, the flesh? And
Oh yeah, I needed a shower.
Hey.
Thanks, mate.
Sorry.
Pal, if you need your arguments from Siraj, you're on deep issue, mate. Okay, so you've literally conceded on camera that that's no longer a disqualifier. So, Topic 1, done.
No.
Allah.
I did not.
Let me come back in for a second. Times. Who's going next?
Me.
Okay, 2 minutes. Starting now.
So beautiful. You've identified that it's not a disqualifier for God to be opposed to temptation and him not following through. I am asked, the burden of proof is on you to show me in scripture where Jesus follows through in a temptation. Point 1. Point 2. I get, and this is where you're not tracking here. I understand that your God is indivisibly one. There are multiplications in God. I agree, right? Sorry, there's a noise in the background. It's disturbing me. Now, if we define parts as less than the whole, and the attributes are not identical to the whole, it means your Allah is composed of parts. He's still indivisibly one, but he's made of parts. Now, if he's made of parts, that means, for example, God is all-powerful through the virtue of the parts of being powerful, which means there's a passive potency in God, which necessitates imperfection, which is a contradiction in your Sunni tradition.
Handler, David. It's my handler. You make it sound like.
Okay, yeah. So you've the burden of proof is on you to demonstrate that God actually got followed through for his temptation. And if you keep on saying that's not the case, then your Allah has not been God for the last 5 minutes, my friend. Allah, $1 million, want it now? Be a Muslim. End the timer.
What I'm saying is, by that understanding of temptation, you're not tempting the God. You're not tempting Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, right? You're just stating stuff to the air without it having the effect that you think it's having.
Which means to prostrate to the ground.
So they do that in the church tradition as well.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, so why are you using that as an insult?
But no, I'm not using it as an insult. Rather, it's an obtuse refutation of my argument. You know why? Because you're saying that I'm just saying things to God. What was Satan doing to Christ? Saying things. If you're saying that that's not the definition of temptation, good, you've refuted yourself again. Because then that means Christ was not tempted.
Okay. So the reason that there was a temptation, right, was because
did Christ follow through?
There's Christ's will and then there's God's will.
But Christ doesn't have a gnome. Hold on. Now you just don't know our Eastern tradition. Christ didn't have a gnomic will. He didn't have sinful inclination. He was the second Adam.
Eastern Orthodox, I accept that.
Yeah, Christ didn't have a gnomic will. He doesn't have sinful inclinations. He can't definitionally have that, which means again he's not tempted. You literally agreed, and now you're being a sophist, that under this precondition of how I'm tempting Allah, that's not definitionally temptation. Good. And in terms of Christ, that's not temptation either. Because if it's just a statement to someone, and if he doesn't follow through, that's not temptation. Christ wasn't tempted. The burden of proof is on you to show me in Scripture where he follows through with this statement.
Yeah. Okay, so what topic do you want me to address?
Allah being imperfect.
Allah being imperfect. Okay. So as Muslims, we believe in a perfect God, right? I don't understand. Tell me why he's imperfect.
Again, so let's just firstly agree on this point.
Okay.
Allah's attributes are not identical to the essence, correct?
I don't fully feel comfortable agreeing to that.
Well, hold on.
Yeah.
Listen. You literally just read. Well, either that they're not. So you agree to that, which means the attributes are less than the whole, which is what a part is.
That is the step. That you're taking another step.
I'm not taking a step.
Agreeing to.
Wait, if it's okay, this is a basic fact of Mariology, right?
Sure.
If it's not the whole itself, it's a part. Would you agree?
Well, you disagree to that yourself when you say that
I
Jesus, the Holy Spirit, and the Father are distinct from each other, but they're not parts of each other. Right?
Yeah, because distinctions doesn't entail composition, especially when their ontology is divinely simple.
There,
But listen, my friend.
Distinctions do not entail
Yes,
composition.
yes, but we would say that God is the persons are fully God,
Yeah.
fully numerically identical to the essence of God.
as
Hold
I
on,
said-
hold on.
as I said,
Listen,
the essence
listen. Numerically identical to what God is, which means he's identical. If he's not, and he is less than the whole itself, do you know what that means? It's part, which means the attributes are a part. So, can you agree? Because if premise one, hold on. Premise one is that Allah's attributes are not him, not other than him. This entails a real distinction between the attributes of Allah and the essence of Allah. Premise 3, the attributes are not identical to the essence. Conclusion, Allah's attributes are a part. Your Allah is composed of parts. Now, can you demonstrate how that's an invalid or unsound argument?
Okay, so
are you saying that, like, say, I just want to clarify my position. Okay, so, like the power of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, right?
Yeah, it's not identical to the whole.
Are you saying that we as Muslims, we cannot as Muslims pray to that?
That's not my point.
Okay.
I am saying there is one being of Allah composed of parts. Do you agree?
No.
Why not?
I'm not.
I gave you an argument.
Right,
I gave you an argument, and you're just saying I disagree. Demonstrate how it doesn't follow.
Okay, let me explain. Like, okay, so you're composed of your will, your strength, your
But by the way, bro, listen. So this is like you're a composite, by the way. This is not identical. Your arm is not identical to the whole of yourself, correct? So you're a composite. You're made of a heart, lungs, a brain, right? Blood, parts, right? So I'm essentially saying, just as much as you're made of parts, Allah is made of parts.
No, that's not funny.
Okay, I gave you an argument, right?
Would you say that your will, your knowledge, is a part of you?
Yes, it's part of me.
It's part of you.
Yeah.
So they are distinct parts of you.
Yeah. Well, you would have
And
to
how
say.
do they relate to your essence?
Yes.
Because your will,
So,
your knowledge is not part
because
of your essence.
my mind begets will, and there is a substantiation of the universal human nature. Now, can we go back to the point? So, we define parts as less than the whole. You said that the attributes are not identical or the whole itself, which means it's a part or lesser than the whole, which means your Allah is made up of parts.
No, we wouldn't.
Bro, like how many times do I have to repeat this until you identify how it's not sound?
I understand what you're saying. Okay. Yeah.
You agree?
No, I'm saying I don't really feel comfortable using that terminology.
Okay, I don't feel comfortable going to the park and being touched by Muslims. Doesn't mean I don't do it. So just admit it and be like a boy. You know, like, be a man, right?
I will admit
Grow
it.
some boxers and let's
I will
talk.
admit it when you admit that your God is the same God as the Catholics.
I mean, if you're saying it's like an extension or like a reduction of the fact that we share like the predicate of like professing the Trinity, sure. But again, let's not change topics. So
Because he came to me and
yeah, so if this is like a reduction of, for example, professing the Trinity, in that sense, sure. But now, that sense, sure.
Okay. So when the Pope says he worships the same God as the Muslims, you are accepting.
I would agree. I would disagree because the rationale of the Pope is through that. Right.
So then you don't.
Hold on.
accept that you worship the same God as the Catholics.
Listen to what I said, and then I want you to respond. If you're saying I share the same God of the Catholics because I share the reducible predicate of professing the Trinity, sure. Now, Pope aside, because I'm not a Catholic, you're a Muslim, right? So, if Allah possesses attributes, and I've said this for the 5th time, and the attributes are not identical to the whole, and are less than the whole itself, that means it's a part.
I mean, you've said it a few times.
Yeah.
My limited knowledge, I'm not going to, on this specific topic, I'm not going to engage further from my position. Right?
Wait, so you'd like to talk about the gods or the Catholic? Hold on. So let me get this right. You want to talk about the Catholic God, but you won't talk about Allah.
No, I'm saying.
Well, it's a talk about Allah then.
It's
Beautiful.
frivolous.
Talk about Allah.
Okay. The first thing is the issue that Christianity fell into was it started to adopt Hellenistic philosophy.
Oh, listen, like oh my goodness. Listen, right? He's more comfortable to talk about the Catholic position than he is to talk about Allah.
No, I'm
now,
saying,
the first principle, ladies and gentlemen, and I'm 16. If you're committing a polemics, you should be familiar with your own position. I am 16 and I know that to be true. So talk about your position before attacking other people's position.
This is my position that I'm not going to get.
Defend your position. Don't say you believe in it. Defend it.
I'm defending my position by these discussions. They just go into philosophy, and just because you may make a point from a philosophical concept that looks like it's more appropriate than my point, doesn't necessarily mean that that's a good way to get to God.
That's just word salad, my friend.
No, it's not. It's not.
That's word salad.
It's not.
But hold on. What is philosophy? The definition of philosophy is love of wisdom. You saying the love of wisdom removes the possibility of knowing God.
I'm saying Aristotelian logic is not a way to get to God.
Oh, by the way, like in
The
terms
way
of
to get to God is through divine
buddy,
revelation.
buddy. So, quick notion for you, pal.
Sure.
If you're discussing other people's faith,
Yes.
learn about yours.
No,
Now,
I-
about philosophy.
God told me.
Is Ibn Taymiyyah a theologian?
Yes.
Is that about philosophy? Theology is...
No. I'm saying there is.
Wait, buddy,
aspects
you
where
said
you
in the...
can use philosophy.
Okay.
right? But
So,
I'm saying,
when I read in Ibn Taymiyyah's Oneness of God,
Sure.
which talks about the relationship between Allah, His attributes, His essence, and how He's indivisibly one,
Yeah.
that is covering the topic that I'm critiquing today.
Yeah.
So, if you want to condemn me Ibn
Yeah.
Taymiyyah.
And my position is.
Wait, so condemn me Ibn Taymiyyah, talk to me.
But I'm saying what you're saying.
Yeah.
Where you're trying to argue this from this perspective,
Yeah.
that is not necessarily the way to God. Like the way to God.
How?
Just by
That is
having,
not only is that word salad, right? Not only is that appealing to like an ambiguous statement, you're just poisoning the well, right? Do you think the people at the corner, it's like a salvation issue to be at the park? Most of the people here aren't practicing that. Hold on. The most fruitless place you could ever be is Speaker's Corner at sometimes. Sometimes it will be fruitful, sometimes it's not, right? So you saying it's not a good way of going to God, don't come to the park, my friend.
No, I'm saying trying to understand God's essence from a philosophical angle is not a good way to
Okay,
understand.
so do you
God.
agree with this statement? That Allah sent the Quran through Jibreel and was written into the Mus'haf. The Mus'haf is the beautiful. Now that is a metaphysical statement which deals with the philosophy of the Quran. Do you know why? Because in that statement, you have affirmed Allah being indivisibly one, that Jibreel is a created spirit, distinct and separate from Allah, but Allah anointed the prophethood of Muhammad, and that the Mus'haf is distinct from the eternal Quran, or the uncreated Quran. I don't know what position you hold to. So, you've just done philosophy. Back to the statement.
No. I'm saying,
You
I'm
just
saying,
done philosophy.
Well, I'm saying.
You
hang on,
made
hang
a
on.
distinction.
I'm saying to try and understand the nature and the essence of God through philosophy is not an appropriate
You just made
way
a
to
philosophical
understand.
statement against
You
Allah's
understand the
essence.
essence and nature of God.
You just
through
made,
divine revelation.
listen, we can end the conversation here if you're just not tracking, that's fine. But you have just made a statement
No,
against
because-
Allah's essence.
Why?
Allah's essence is separate from Jibreel, his spirit,
Yes.
is really distinct from the speech of Allah, and the speech of
But we're
Allah
not- but that-
is not identical to the Mus'haf.
Through
Thank
logic-
you.
Through logical
You have
deduction,
proved-
through logical deduction, you can separate like the concept of Allah.
Okay,
subhanahu
how about
wa
this?
ta'ala
Logical
from the rest
deduction.
of creation.
Hold
I'm saying
on.
To understand Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala,
Okay.
you can't use Aristotelian logic to understand.
You're just poisoning the well. Because you're just saying that so you're right.
No,
Yes,
that's
you
a
are.
Sunni Islamic position.
Okay.
We shouldn't
Do
use
philosophy.
Aristotelian logic to understand
Wait,
the essence.
do you
of
even know
Allah.
what Aristotelian logic is? What is it then?
Yeah, it's like the logic of Aristotle. I mean, come on, man. Like, I don't have to
If
give full
brother,
definition
I
right
hold
now.
to classical logic.
Yeah.
Law of excluded middle, law of identity,
Sure.
law of non-contradiction. I am appealing to a law of non-contradiction. Now, are you saying that your theologians would disagree with the law of non-contradiction?
Our theologians will disagree with the law of non-contradiction.
Wait, you disagree that the law of non-contradiction is a notion which stipulates that there cannot be a P and not P in the same relation in the same time. You reject, but that is not true.
Well, how does that apply? From Christian position, you don't believe that either.
What do you mean we do?
Okay, so repeat that. There is a
Buddy,
P-
buddy,
Yeah.
buddy.
Yeah.
So I'm asking you, is the notion true that there cannot be a P and not P in the same respect in the same time?
Yes.
And if you cannot answer this question,
but that
you
is-
are not
no, no,
learned.
no.
Hold on. If you cannot answer this question, I would say you're not learned in your faith to discuss against Islam or Catholicism or Eastern Orthodoxy
No, I'm saying,
or
I'm
even
saying
Protestantism.
hang on. From your position, I'm trying
No,
to
no.
say, are you being hypocritical?
No.
Because you believe that Jesus is God, right?
Yeah.
And you believe Jesus is a man.
Yeah.
Right? How is that fit with any
Okay,
of
logical contra.
Aristotelian
Hold on.
logic?
I'm going to answer your question,
sure.
then I'm going to call you a coward and leave the conversation. So, we define a P and not P as a P and not P in the same respect in the same time. Jesus Christ's humanity, his sets of predication appointed to humanity, is in respect to his human nature, not in respect to his divine. It'd be a logical contradiction to say there is one nature which shares contradictory predicates. Rather, we ascribe it of two distinct natures. So, I beg you today, I believe you're not learned in your...
Sorry. I'm just simply saying
Yeah.
that
our understanding of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, right? We understand that through divine revelation. We
Yeah.
never secede to Aristotelian logic, no matter
You didn't
how
even
many-
know what, brother.
Okay.
I don't even know
Okay,
what you're
but-
saying.
okay,
Aristotelian logic, my
Okay, I'm
friend.
saying
So
logic, like-
you are not
No, no,
learned. Listen.
Okay, I'm
You're not
I'm not
learned.
learned.
You're
Okay,
not
it's okay,
learned
it's
on
okay.
Allah.
Alright.
You're not learned in Tawheed. You're not learned in Catholicism.
Sure,
You're not
sure,
learned
sure.
in Eastern Orthodoxy, right? You have spent an hour of my time demonstrating
You
none
came
of
up
your
to me.
points,
You came up to me.
self-refuting, contradictory notations,
You came
which
up to me.
destroy your faith and actually reinforce mine. So thank you very much, my friend. I beg you, big day. And I have to sort out
May
these
Allah
cameras.
subhanahu wa ta'ala guide you.
Well, a God that's
And
made out of
the
parts
hatred
and
in
is
your
in-
heart of Islam, leave.
My brother, we genuinely love you. You love me with the love of
Brother, I love you.
Logically deduced.
Listen. If you were to come up to me and said, "Can I have a Bible in church?" I would take you to church on Sunday and give you a free Bible.
No, that's not love. That's not.
Brother, I truly love you because I believe what.
Because look at the way you've talked throughout this conversation. Look at the arrogance that you talked with. Look at the way you.
That's just my character. Now, I actually will. Hold on. I will apologise. Listen, I apologise if I seem as arrogant, if I seem as aggressive. Now, I will admit I hate Islam, right? I admit that. I don't hate you as a Muslim. I will 100% always admit I hate Islam, but I love you. Right? I love you as a human individual. Now, if you were to come to me off camera and say, I'm convinced...
I was off camera,
Hold on.
and you came up to me and then you
Hold on.
got the
You literally asked if you wanted this discussion on camera. So, if you were to come up to me and ask me, I'm thinking about joining Christianity, brother, I would hug you, give you a Bible and take you to church, right? But I think Islam is killing you.
Why? Look. Why? Like, why do you have so much hatred towards a religion? Like,
Because
so much.
if you profess Islam, you are spiritually dead. If you... No, we don't. We really don't, gentlemen.
Don't leave it. He's talking about
Wait, when has the Pope ever said that there's beauty in Islam? Beauty. Now, hold on, this is going back to the debate at hand. So, I wish you good day. I hope you learn about Tawheed because it's kind of cooked theologically. Now, if you were a Shia, different discussion. Kind of a bit more competent. But
It's not cooked. It's basically what I'm saying
They feel maybe
is
yes,
that
man.
we don't engage in frivolous.
that's why Ananda was that
philosophical
for so long, wasn't it? Ananda was Shia for so long because of that, wasn't it? I spoke to him today.
That's still mad to believe.
Oh, right, wrap up. Right, ladies and gentlemen. Listen. I don't want
It's
you.
about learning a bit more. It's about from a Sunni, and you agree.
Listen.
From a Sunni position,
Yes.
we shouldn't delve into these topics
Listen.
too much, right? Do you agree?
Listen, I literally just showed you that you do. So listen, bro. Listen. I hope you are not radicalized or stigmatized by the Christian position. I really don't, right? I hope you actually think that Christianity is more coherent of an account of God. Don't be. Oh, listen, right? If you think I'm arrogant, if you think I'm rude, that's probably the case. Don't think that of
Why
Christianity.
can we talk like this?
Listen. Don't think of that of Christianity. Think of that of me, right? Christianity is not arrogance, right? You may think that of me, that's fine. Blame me, condemn me.
I'm not.
Don't
I
say that of
associate-
Christianity.
I don't associate Christians with being arrogant.
Okay, beautiful.
I'm not saying that. But
Okay.
I'm saying from your perspective.
Okay, condemn me, right? I don't really
You
care
know
what
what
you think
I'm
of
saying?
me.
It's fine
right?
now. We could have had this discussion like this.
So-
You were playing off the camera.
No, I won't hang out together. So, ladies and gentlemen. So, ladies and gentlemen, that was interesting. 3 topics, to which 3 topics I believe is not a factor for me, rather an issue for him. Is Allah is made out of parts. He wouldn't admit it, but the silence was killer. So, ladies and gentlemen, I would invite you exactly. Allah is a Lego set. He possesses parts. He's not identical to the parts themselves. So, ladies and gentlemen, I would invite you to the Trinity of a divine, simplistic God. Not a God composed of parts and contingents. Any argument that the Dawagandists pose here against contingency will refute their God, because their God is made of parts and these parts themselves are not our say. So ladies and gentlemen, I bid you good night. I hope the Holy Spirit guides you to the truth, the way and the light, and may it cleanse me and use me as a messenger to demonstrate that Christianity is truth.
Well done, Yambo.
How dare you talk to a woman like that? How dare you?
Oh yeah, Young Bob Apologia, that's the one.